Hello, everyone. This is Greg. I'm a real world A320 pilot. I bring my love for aviation and flight simming to the community. Everyone out there, how's everyone doing tonight? I am kind of doing an impromptu stream here. Just started my Recurrent. Figured I'd hit the sim just one more time before I actually hop into the simulator, do everything for real. So this is going to be like a last minute impromptu stream. I probably won't be interacting with the chat nearly as much on the stream. Just going to kind of get in, hop in, and get everything going. So with that said, let's see. Oh, it won't let me load the aircraft? Oh, don't worry. I can take care of that. We want about 100 passengers. We'll do everything just like we did in the Train Like a Real Pilot. About 2,000 pounds of cargo. Sounds about right. And about 16,000 pounds of fuel. Good enough for government. Apply and load. Instant dismiss. From there, we're going to go into here. 9 left. Dry. We'll sync that. We'll come into here. Does 132 match? We're not initialized. Let's go ahead and initialize. We'll get that going. Think the weather. Oh no, I don't need live weather. The winds are going to be 1805. Temperature 15 degrees. 2992. Hold on, let me make sure that's exactly what I have. Let's see. 2992. ISO plus 10. I don't know what that is. Just I don't know. ISO plus 10 Fahrenheit? Why is that in Fahrenheit? Everything should be standard. Everything should be standard. I don't care. There we go. So, we get those numbers. Let's calculate that. Actually, let's go back here. What I want to do is send those numbers to the MCDU. Oh my gosh. Did it not request a flight plan? Could you just request it from SimBrief? There's a reason I put it AOC. Oh, it's in the secondary flight plan? It's kind of weird. Secondary plan? Seriously? Oh, we'll insert the secondary uplink in progress. So this is almost realistic too. When the airplane's active like this, it won't input into the primary flight plan. It'll put it in the secondary, which is actually pretty accurate. So we'll go back to the secondary, we'll activate it. This is what they'd actually do in the simulator too, because they're moving you around so much, they just save the flight plan on the secondary, and whenever they move you around in the simulator, they just activate the secondary. Excellent to see how that's modeled here. Alrighty, departure, 9 left is what we're going to do. We're going to be on the varsity departure here. So varsity departure, no key transition. We'll go ahead and insert that. Savannah, doesn't really matter. We'll put in an arrival. Let's call it the ILS to runway 1. No star. We'll insert that. We'll go back to our initialization here. We're going to be Fenix 320. A cost index. I don't know what it is. Let's call it 45. And I think in SimBrief I said we're going to be cruising at flight level 260. So, oh, that looks good. It's 15 degrees out because everything's standard. We can go ahead and uplink the winds, even though that's not necessary. And we can go back. Let's see. Did I initialize? Yeah, I sent the numbers there, so that's good. Performance. We calculated that out already. So here's our performance. We'll send that to the McDo magically, and it populates in 263030. Flaps 2, don't know why it's always Flaps 2, but it's always Flaps 2 on the Fenix. Flaps 2 or Flaps 3, it's usually one or the other. Don't really need this because we're not going to be descending anywhere. Alrighty, so all of that looks good. Alright, so there's that. We got that on TAR. Let's see. Flaps 2. Are the speed brakes or spoilers? Let's see. I need the beacon on. Yeah, let's turn all of this on. ready for departure, but everything's off. It's a weird setup. It is what it is. All right. Close you. I don't know why that circuit breaker is always out, but it is. Excellent. We need auto brakes max. We need down 0.1. We need the wind shear on. We need to confirm we're ready for takeoff. We need to set an altitude in here. We'll call it 10,000 for now. Streets 10. Excellent. Okay. So, with all that, it looks like we're ready for departure. Our first thing we're going to do here is we're going to do a low-vis takeoff. So right now it's not low-vis, but I'm not really trying to mess with the weather too much on this. I'm just trying to get up in the air, get around, back down to land. So with a low-vis takeoff, we want to make sure we really go for takeoff. We're going to look over our Jepson charts and review what's required. We're going to look in our manuals to see what we can take, and if both agree, we're clear for takeoff. And they agree. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take off, hand fly all the way up, do an upset, and then we're going to come back around for Cat 3, landing into Atlanta. Let's see. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this now. So we'll just arm this failure now. We'll call it electrical. Okay. Why are you grabbing? Oh, that's interesting. Let's do a tier 1 failure. Arm failure. At our... okay. We'll cancel that. We'll hold off until I get back around in the pattern. Alrighty. So, with all that ready, we're all briefed up for the departure. Or we'll say everything's been briefed up. And we're ready to go. Clear a company message here. Because I hate seeing company messages, that's why. Alrighty, so we'll clear a company message. Accept, return, sheet, accept, return. Alrighty. So, we'll put the performance page over there. We'll put the flight plan page right here. And let's just get going. I think everything else is set. Let's take off out of here. 1.05 on the EPR. Flex. Thrust set. $80. Checked. A1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Off thrust can come off. We're in the climb phase. We're going to pitch down to the flight directors. Climb. Climb set. Laps 1. Let's go ahead and clear auto flight. There we go. Pops up. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist is complete. Alrighty. Let's hop right into our unusual attitude here. I'm not wasting any time or anything like that. So we'll pretend we had some wake turbulence. And I got our airplane all types of messed up. Recovered. You see how the flight directors went away. So we can roll wings level and back down towards the horizon at the same time. We'll let our airspeed build back up. We don't want to sink. We don't want to sink. There we go. Airspeed coming back up. I'm going to come back into the flight directors very slowly. And we'll continue out on our SID. There we go. We will let ATC know that we hit some wake. And we'll continue on our way. Alrighty, let's go ahead and stop our climb here at 7,000 feet. 6 for 7. And now we gotta remember, auto thrust is off, so we'll bring the power back. Well, that's really what they're looking for. They're really looking for you to bring the power back when you level off. You're just not gonna let the airplane accelerate and do whatever it wants. You fly the airplane doesn't fly you. That's what you gotta remember. Alrighty. So we've intercepted the star. We're level here at 7,000. Everything is good. I'm going to go ahead and re-establish the automation. So, I'll turn the auto thrust on. Excellent. Move it at the lever to climb. We'll turn the autopilot on. Excellent. And let's go ahead and get going back westbound. We're going to go ahead and do the Cat 3 ILS 2 908. So 270 heading. That sounds good. While we get turned going that way, we'll go ahead and change our destination to Atlanta. There we go. When uplink is this? Okay. I don't care. Why does that... Alrighty. Let's choose something further down, shall we? Dublin, K-A-T-L. When uplink exists? I don't understand what this is trying to do. Why are you telling me that? New destination. Alrighty. Why do you keep saying that? When? Oh, I never actually uplinked it. Well, okay, so now it's inserted. Now let's see if it'll let us do it. ATL. There we go. Yep, there we go. We'll insert that. Arrival. We won't put in a star, but we are going to 9 right. And approach vias. We'll put in the Andy. There we go. We'll insert that. Flight plan. Let's go direct to Andy. We'll radial in off of that. There we go. We'll go ahead and select our heading. We'll zoom out, see where we are in space and time. Can probably bring it back around to like a 275. There we go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we have the arrival set in there. What we're going to do is we'll go into our charts. And I'm going to kind of be looking at my own charts here, but for reference, here we go. 9 right, ILS. There it is. I'll bring it over so you guys can see. And we're going to do a quick verification of all our points. So we have Andy at or above 7,000. That looks good. We got defense at or above 6,000. That looks good. We got good guy at or above 5,000. That looks good. We get easy at or above 4,000. That looks good. We got Bernie at about 2700. That looks good. From Bernie, we should have a 30-degree glide slope, and it should be about 5 miles. So we got 5 miles, 30-degree glide slope to the runway there. That looks good. For our missed approach, it's going to be 1430. Then I climbed to intercept. Climbed to 4,000 on a heading of 100 outbound on the. I think that's Anaheim view. I'm not too sure what AHN is. 235 radio to Connie and hold. So that all looks like it's in the box. It's been verified. RadNav, we got iPhone 1089 and a 30-degree glide slope and a 095. That all looks good. Progress page, we'll put KATL in, and oh, sorry, no, I want KATL 09, right? Excellent. We got that in there. GPS primary accuracy high, 0.03 navigation. Performance approach page. We can go ahead and pull our speed. We can activate it. We'll confirm their approach phase. We want 2992 as the altimeter, 15 degrees is the temperature, and the winds are 180 at 5. So we can do that. Our Cat 3, we're doing a Cat 3 auto land, so we want no in the radio field, and we want flaps full, low auto brakes, because that gives us the best deck angle to shoot the approach. So there we go. All of that is set up. We've done our backward Z. No need for the double D. We're going to go right into our follow-ups here and our manual to make sure we hit everything. So we're going to follow that up and verify we have everything. So there's a lot of stuff here to brief with a lot of things to brief with a 3 ILS. Let's see, where are we in space and time? We're almost at Andes. Alrighty. I might shortcut us in so that we're not taking too much time here. We're already only at, we're at 7,000 feet. Let's go down to 3,000 feet. Why not? We'll get on to 3,000 feet. And that'll slow us down to 210 knots. That seems reasonable. So, let's see. We're going to follow up for Cat 3. We have Cat 3 dual. The lowest we can take is 300 RVR. And 300 RVR is what the touchdown, mid, and rollout need to be. Any two reports are required. So controlling if reporting or the touchdown, mid, and rollout advisory. If all three are reporting, the far end and rollout, the far end is advisory, but the far end may be substituted to for rollout if the rollout is inoperative. So there we go. Let's see. And if we look on the chart here, we need 300 RVR, 300 RVR. All of them are controlling. So we got 333. Let's just say we got 333. Everything on the airplane works, so we're not worried about inoperative equipment there. Let's see. Auto brakes will normally be used. Proper seat height is necessary to make sure we get all the right cues for the runway environment. Auto thrust is required. We're going to use that. Captain assumes the pilot flying duty prior to localizer capture. Let's see. So some important things here. Below 400 feet, both pilots will verify land greened. Land is enunciated in green on the FMA. The AFO will call out land green, or he'll call out no land green if land does not enunciate below 350 feet RA. In that case, we'll go around. That's a mandatory go around. Another mandatory go around. If the warning lights, the auto land warning lights, automatically illuminate. So that is this light right here. We get that light, that's an automatic go around. Or if flare does not Display at approximately 40 feet. Yeah, if it will call out no flare. Let's get started heading northbound. Oop. We'll call it that for now. I may have gone a little bit too far. Considerations if the captain fails to respond to the land green call out in this case. The FO takes over the flying duties. If the aircraft is in position to land, in most cases, the safest course of action would be to complete the landing and rollout. So those are our go around and some considerations to think about. For Cat 3 dual, enter no in the radio fill after the auto marker. Approach may continue to landing even if the RVR is below minimums. The approach lighting system becomes inoperative. And that's about that for the Cat 3 dual. So now we can hop right into briefing the approach with our co-pilot here. We'll be doing the Cat 3 into 9 right. That's going to be chart 11-7, dated 14 April 22. The frequency is 1089. Well, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I have us descending at 3,000. Oh, yeah, that makes about a lot of sense. So we'll hang out at 3,000 for a while, which is perfectly fine. In fact, you know what? I will go ahead and give us like a 030. We'll intercept the localizer for now, and that should be perfectly fine. The final approach course is 095. We verified that. Burning's at 2,700. Our minimums, we don't have any. Touchdown zone is 1,026 feet. And the MSA around the airport is 3,100 feet, all quadrants. We'll configure flaps full, lower auto brakes. If we need to go miss, plan on doing a soft go around. The Polish miss has climbed to 4,000 on the heading 100. And inbound on the ANH or AHN VOR 235 to Connie and hold. That's in a box and has been verified. Let's see. Radar is required for procedure entry. We don't have to worry about that. The glide slope's coincident. That's fine. It's a 30-degree glide slope. The PEPI's on the left. ALS of 2 lighting. And when we do land, in this case, we would bring up the low-vis taxi charts. So that's 300 RVR. Low-vis taxi route says we can only turn off. It looks like we can only turn off here at the end, and then we'll take a left-hand turn. So there we go. That will be the plan. We'll turn off at the end. Questions, comments, or concerns? No, I have no further questions. Let's get you off of the screen there. And so we can roll straight into a descent checklist. So I'll take the aircraft back from the FL. We can roll right into a descent checklist. Altimeters, we got 29902. Let's call that 2. Adjust U1, 29902. Auto brake low, prefer approach page set. Arrival briefing, reviewed no star. The Cat 3 ILS to runway. 9 right. Status is checked. There's no status messages. The descent checklist is complete. Excellent. Let's turn on the LS push buttons here. I forgot that we need to do that. Intercept the localizer anyway. Excellent. Let's go ahead and arm this TR failure. And let's say at or below. What did I say the landing elevation was 1,000, so we'll call it 2,000 feet. So, yeah, at or below 2,000 feet. Mean sea level, yeah, okay, 2,000. Why are you doing... Why are you trying to do both? At or below 2, 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's what I wanted. At or below 2,000. We'll apply that change. And with that, we are all set. We can go flaps 1, speed verified. And I'm going to keep the airplane set in a situation where I'm not going to need the auto or the spoilers. So I will just go ahead and arm the spoilers now. And we're set up for the Cat 3 approach into Atlanta. We'll actually cool it off a little bit in the back. Why I'm actually carrying, I have no clue. Alrighty. So not bad. As you can see, I'm going to be running through these scenarios fairly quickly. Fairly quickly. Alright. Everyone doing quite well out there. Draco, welcome, welcome. Woot woot. I know. Woot woot indeed. Alrighty. We're coming up on Bernie. We're just about 10 miles out. Now's a good time to go ahead and begin slowing down to about 170 knots. So let's go ahead and do that. We're passing easy. The next fix is burning. Let's slow down to 170 knots. That gives us a good margin to get 1, flaps 2, and possibly flaps 3 out. And when we go manage, it will slow right on down to our final approach speed here. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, review Fenix minus 10, flaps 2, speed verified. The glide slope is coming on in. There is no real reason to take anything super fast, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and manage up everything right just about now. A half dot is a good time to do that. You get the engines coming back. You can say gear down, flaps 3, speed verified. Oop, I forgot to arm the approach. Is it going to capture? I have no clue. Let's take it down to... Yep, it did. Okay. So glide slope capture, set miss approach altitude. It's going to be 4,000. That's set. Flaps full, speed verified. Before landing checklist. The before landing checklist altimeters, we got 29902. We're passing through 2760. Engine mode norm. Landing gear down. Through green ECAM memo, landing no blue. Before landing checklist is complete. Alright, so almost didn't catch that. That's okay. We're single pilot. We're doing a lot of things very quickly here. And so now we're just going to let the airplane settle in and do what it's going to do. I'm going to readjust my view. Oh, we got the triple click motor version. We're Cat 3 single. That's not going to work. Alrighty, let's go around. Go around. Toga. Flaps 3. Toga. Set. Climb. Climb set. Positive rate. Gear up. Set missed approach altitude. 4,000. 4,000 set. Flaps 1. Hello tower, Fenix 320, going missed, approach, runway 9er right. Fenix 320, fly the published mist. We'll fly the published mist, Fenix 320. So we're going to climb on out to 4,000 feet. Three for 4. Flaps up. After takeoff checklist. So, gears up, flaps up, and the pressurization has been checked. The after takeoff checklist is complete. Alrighty, we're level here at 4,000. So, what do we have here? We have a electric tier 1 fault. Looks like here, yep, tier 1 is definitely offline. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's not a quick action item or an ECAM exception. It is not a quick action item and it's not an ECAM exception. So normally we'll assign pilot flying, pilot monitoring duties. Captain will be pilot flying. First officer will be pilot monitoring. Sorry, the first officer will be the pilot flying. Opposite, the captain will be the pilot monitoring. So he'll hand the aircraft over. So he'll say your aircraft, your radios. First officer will say my aircraft, my radios. ECAM actions. We have ELEC TR1 fault. There are no action items associated with it. If I look on the electric page, it looks like the TR1 has failed. So they'll say clear electric, clear electric. Alrighty, nothing block 2 here. Status messages, we have Cat 3 single only, and NOP systems Cat 3 dual, and TR1 clear status. Clear status. ECAM actions are complete. When able, we'll have we'll go and see if there's any other follow-ups in our quick reference handbook. We have ELEC. Let's see. There are no follow-ups. So, with that, we will go ahead and request vectors back around for the ILS. Let's head south again. So we'll head south. We'll request vectors back around for the ILS. We are ready for it. By the time we get everything set up and briefed, we should be good to go. I'll go ahead and speed us up to 250 knots. No reason to hang out there at green dot. Excellent. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and activate our approach phase here. Excellent. So now we are doing a Cat 3 single. So what we need to do is enter 50 feet in our radio field. Now at 50 feet, we have to see the touchdown zone or the touchdown zone lights in order to continue for a landing. We're still going to let the airplane auto land itself, but now we have to actually see something. And we're in a slightly reduced capability. So we want to make sure that we can be able to see and verify visually that the airplane's still going to land where it says it's going to land. So with that, let's go ahead and make a turn back westbound again. Whoop. Sorry about that. A little zoomy action there. So let's go ahead and head westbound. 4,000 feet. We're going to get altitude. Let's go ahead and check our flight plan here. We can go back direct to Andy. Since we did go into Toga, it recycled their approach for us. Otherwise, we'd have to put in a new destination in order to do it. Alright, we'll say riddle in. We'll insert that. We'll go ahead and pull the heading there. And now, let's just say we verified our flight plan. We know all the routes. They're going to be all our fixes. They're going to be the same. Everything's the same. 095, 30-degree glide slope, iFun 108.9. We got 9 right. GPS primary, accuracy high. And we already did this page here. Everything remains the same except the 50 feet call out now. So no need for the double D. Now we can go back in. I'm going to go ahead and put like a 275 in there. So I'm going to go back in now. Let's clear this. Well, we'll keep the fault because we're going to be Cat 3 single, right? So now I'm going to go back into our tree here, our little backup pages or reference pages here. And we're going to reference for Cat 3 single now. For Cat 3 single, it's saying that we need, if we're going to do Cat 3 single for 300 RVR, which the airport is reporting, Then the touchdown has to be 600. The mid has to be 400. Um, and the rollout has to be 300. So the rollout is the only one that can be at 300. Everything else has to be above that. So we need 643. So we need the touchdown zone plus 1. So either the touchdown zone or the mid or rollout, or the far end may be substituted for rollout. So we need the touchdown zone plus 1. And the touchdown zone is controlling. Controlling is reporting for all three of them. And the far end or the rollout. The far end may be substituted for the rollout. So those are the things we got to consider there. We'll say everything's working. We got 6, 4, and 3 exactly is what they're reporting now. And let's see. Everything that we need for the Cat 3 single is still working, so that's good. The only thing that's really going to change with our mandatory briefing here is now instead of saying that we're going to continue to land at land green call out at 350 feet, we're going to say we're going to continue to land at 50 feet. So that's what we need to do in order to land. So a Cat 3 single, we're going to enter a decision height of 50 feet. And to continue below that, I need to see the touchdown zone or the touchdown zone lights. They must be visually identified and maintained all the way until a landing. So that's what we're going to do. Those are really the only big changes between a Cat 3 dual and a Cat 3 single approach. Hello, Max Racing. How's it going? This is kind of a last-minute impromptu stream I got going on here right before I hop into the simulator tomorrow. So if I don't interact with the stream too much, that's probably why I'm really focusing on getting all these procedures in, trying to make it as quick as I possibly can back around the pattern to get all of this stuff done. So what we will do is we've briefed the approach up. We've noted the differences between our Cat 3 dual and our Cat 3 single. We've made the correct modifications to it, so that's good. And we are all set and ready to go. At this point, if we have time, we've briefed everything up. Now would be a nice time to make a PA. You don't have to tell everything to the passengers. Something like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the flight deck. If you could not tell, as we were approaching the runway, we got an indication on the flight deck, and out of an abundance of caution, we decided to go around. We're going to come around the pattern and shoot the approach one more time. We should be landing here in the next 10 minutes. Thank you for your patience and your cooperation. Excellent. So now the passengers are aware we went down, we came back up, because most likely they've heard the engine spool all the way up. It's kind of hard to miss that. So we're on our way back around the pattern. Easy is at 4,000. I might do the same thing that I did last time and just go ahead and descend down to 3,000. Let's go ahead and slow down to 210 knots. We can go down to 3,000. And we are all ready for the approach again. Again, during that whole briefing phase, obviously whoever the pilot flying is, usually it'll be the captain, since they're going to be the one briefing up the whole approach and flying the approach, and the first officer will be the pilot monitoring. So you'll hand off the flight controls to your pilot monitoring, brief everything up, and then once you're ready, you'll take back controls and request the descent checklist. So descent checklist, please. Altimeters, we got 29902. Auto brake is low. Preferred approach page is set. Arrival briefing is reviewed, no star. ILS Cat 2, ILS single. Or sorry, the ILS Cat 3 single 9-right approach, and the status is checked. The descent checklist is complete. Let's go ahead and make a turn to the north here. There we go. I'll bring it on around to something like that. We're at 3,000 feet, 210 knots. We're below VF Fenix minus 10 flaps 1. There we go. Speed verified. So, whenever you have a status message and you've cleared it, it will always come back when you go flaps 1. So, whenever you're doing any abnormal stuff, you always want to make sure when you go flaps 1, check your status. No changes. Clear status. Clear status. Alrighty, so we can go ahead and clear that. Excellent. what I will probably do is I'll just extend off of easy now. We'll go direct to easy, radial in, insert. We're going to pull our heading so that we don't intercept that. Once I get a little bit closer, in fact, you know what? Right now, since we're far enough away out, we'll just go ahead and do a 030. We'll intercept the localizer. We're cleared for the ILS runway 9 right approach. Alrighty, there we go. That might be a different day for a different time. That might be a different day for a different time, Max Racing. So just trying to get through some of these basic maneuvers now, before I go into the simulator tomorrow. So with that, let's go ahead and slow her back down to 170 knots. That way we are ready for our gear down, flaps 3. That's always a good position to be in. Again, you never want to try to rush yourself through anything when you're in the simulator. I know I'm going quick right now, but when it comes to approach, you never want to really rush yourself. Flaps 2, speed verified. You want to set yourself up for the best of success. If I can say it, success. Max Racing, in order for me to do that, I might actually go to... We usually do that in VMC conditions, first of all. We never really do IMC, terrain RA, and usually because it's one of the bigger lone mountains out there, it's just kind of out there by itself. It's usually out in Seattle by Mount Rainier, because it's just a mountain that stands out there all by itself. But usually that's in VMC, and it's usually just a demo, just to show you, like, look how close the airplane's going to get when you get this. But when you do get it, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you kind of turn the autopilot off, go full left side stick and toga, and just get the F out of there. Alrighty, let's see. We have localizer capture. And I'll do exactly what I did last time. So right when we get about a half knot, I'll go ahead and manage everything and start slowing down. And that's a real good time for the airplane to get down and fully configured. So the glide slope is alive. There we go, glide slope capture. We'll go manage, set missile approach altitude, 4,000 feet, gear down. Flaps 3, speed verified. Alright, already earned the auto brakes, that's excellent. Flaps full, speed verified before landing checklist. Altimeters, we are at 29902, crossing 2760. Engine mode norm, landing gear. And notice I'm looking right here at the triple indicator. See how it's doing its self-check? I'm waiting for that to go back down, because now it's in the green. So now you can say down and through green ECAM memo, landing no blue before landing checklist is complete. So at this point, at 50 feet, we're looking for the runway, the touchdown zone or touchdown zone lights. That's the only way we can land, is if we have touchdown zone or touchdown zone lights. We should break out fairly high. I don't have the weather that low at all down here. I'm not really trying to mess with the weather all too much on this. And I didn't get the 1,000 call, but stable. I'm going to pretend like I don't see the runway until 50 feet, so I'll make all the call outs like I would if I didn't see the runway until 50 feet. Land green. Approach lights. Runway. Continuing.
Minimum 30, 20, 10, 5.
Deployed. 80. 60. Alright, and autopilot can come off. And we'll bring the aircraft to a stop straight ahead. That's how the airplane auto lands itself. Yes, it was as an auto test of the brake steering control unit. It does that every single time you put the gear down. There we go. So we'll go ahead and set that. I will blink out the screen real quick, like. Well, I want that. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and reset, restart, continue. So we'll go ahead and restart. The next one we're gonna do, we'll do a takeoff. We'll come right back around the pattern. And we're going to do a localizer approach now. Localizer approach to runway 9er right. In the Airbus, they call that a non-managed, non-ILS approach. We'll go ahead and start that up. Ready to fly. Excellent. So, here we go. Bring you back online here. There we go. Get the aircraft back up and going again. Panel states we want ready. Activate. Weather, let's go ahead and mess with the weather again. It's always going to be 180 at 5. And I'm not putting in any gusts because Microsoft does weird thing with the gusts. Alrighty. And for this, what does the localizer approach take it down to? 1480. Main ground level 14, so 400, about 500 feet above the ground. We'll call it that. I'm not trying to make it too crazy. Overcast. Of course you're going to be like that. Alright. I don't want a 500 feet. I want a little bit higher. I actually want to break out and be able to see something. I don't want to go around for no reason. There we go. So we will have that there. Okay, density can be whatever it is. I don't know what any of these do, but it is what it is. So we got that. The winds are... Why do you insist on being like that? Why do you do this to me, Microsoft? This is why I don't like Microsoft. 180. F5. I hate Microsoft weather. Please improve upon this. Alright, so that is what it is. Hopefully that took. I'm not doing this a million times, Microsoft. Just get it right. That's all I ask. Alrighty. So everything's kind of started up. Let's go ahead and reload the aircraft. Yeah, I know. We will load aircraft. We'll call it instant. Dismiss. Then the McDo. I didn't even do this. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll send that to the McDo. Nav accuracy upgrade. I know. DPS primary. We'll go into here. 9 left drive. We'll sync the final load sheet. It is 180 at 5. 15 degrees. All of this stuff is going to be standard. Alrighty, so optimal, we'll calculate that. Alrighty, are you going to do that? Are you going to do that? Oh, did it do the same thing? It sent it to the secondary flight plan? Yeah, it is. It's in the secondary flight plan. We'll go ahead and put that in the secondary flight plan. And we're going to activate the secondary flight plan. Excellent. Go back to our initialization. We're going to be Fenix 320. We're going to be a cost index of 50. Let's just say 50. And flight level 260 or whatever. We're going east, 270, something like that. 15 degrees outside. We can uplink the winds. Nope, I don't want none of those. Let's see. Nope, I want flight plan. I literally hit all the wrong buttons. So we want departure. Let's go 9 left. It'll be the first city departure, no T transition. Okay. You're very annoying that you won't do this. Insert the uplink. Here we go. Departure, 9 left. Varsity. Noki. It doesn't really matter. No star. Insert that. Let's see. There's a reason why you do certain things in a certain order. Alrighty. Performance that I calculated. Send to McDo. So we'll send that to the McDo. Magically it populates. Look at there. Excellent. Although secondary still has our secondary things. Alrighty, so we're all set there. If we bring up the performance page over here, it's up 0.5. Okay, that's different. Something like that. Let's see. We want that on all, not just one or the other. Flaps, what was it? 2. And we'll arm the speed brakes. Go max there. Signs. We go up here. Turn everything on. Because I care about the passengers so much. Alrighty. And we can go ahead and test. What's going on? Alrighty. Let's see here. No. So the master caution on that last landing was self-induced. So I jumped the detent on my throttles here. So if you look here, I'm in forward idle, but for some reason one of them keeps jumping the detent into min reverse. I don't know why it's doing that. So that's why when it did that, one of them jumped the gate there. I do have a min reverse gate. And there it is right there, and then all the way down. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I might need to adjust the null zone on this. Actually, let me just go ahead and config controls. Yeah, right. No. Let's return. Let's go ahead and control config. Cancel calibration. Alright, clear calibration, and then we will calibrate that. So we will set max reverse. There it is. Next up, set idle reverse. Idle. Climb. Flex. Toga. We'll start the calibrations. Put a 3% null on there. Alright, so that way. Alright. Alright, so it's not jumping it anymore. So that's what that was. Alrighty, so with that all calibrated, let's go ahead and get out of here. Alright, no. I gotta reset the flight directors. Let's clear all of that. I know. Bunch here. Let's turn you on. Alrighty. Alrighty. So, all of that said, let's go ahead and get out of here so we can do a localizer approach. 1.05 on the EPR. Flex. Thrust set. $80 checked. V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Turn on autopilot 1. In training, I like to use the autopilot a lot more than I would on a line, just because autopilot on, you kind of get a full picture of what's going on. There's always going to be ECAMs being thrown your way, different things just to keep you busy throughout your simulator ride. Because if not, then what? You're just going to be doing... Don't know why we're stuck in... Oh, because I didn't put an altitude in. How about that? 6,000 feet. There we go. So, you know, some stuff like that, that'll happen from now and again. You think the airplane's all the way set up. It's not. Flaps 1. And flaps up after takeoff checklist. Waiting on the flaps to come up. The gear's up. The flaps are up. We're pressurizing normally after takeoff checklist is complete. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get vectored back around. We'll do like a 180 heading here real quick. Let's go ahead and put in a new destination, Atlanta. There we go. We will insert that. It's going to be to 9 right. We're going to be doing a localizer approach. So with this one, we want to make sure if there's a localizer only option, we want to make sure we put that in. So we'll scroll through, see if there's a localizer only option. There is not. So what we're going to do is we'll put in the ILS to runway 9 right. No star. Vias, we want Andy. And we'll go ahead and insert that. From there, we'll go direct to Andy. We'll radio land off of that. And we'll insert that. We'll pull heading again. And we'll make a turn to 275 heading. So get us going back the right direction there. So, with our localizer approach, I'll go ahead and bring our approach chart back over so we can start verifying that. Let's just say it's the same approach as 9 right, so we'll say we'll verify all the routes, waypoints. But what we really want to do is we want to make sure that if there is a step down fix between burning and the runway, that step down fix is in there. That's why we want to look for a localizer only approach. The localizer only approach in the box will have step-down fixes in there. The ILS may not have that step-down in there, so that's why I wanted to check that. So, Bernie, after Bernie, no step-down fixes, don't have to worry about that. Everything else, being equal, is all the same. So we're still going to be 1089, 095, 2700 at Bernie. This time our minimums are going to be... sorry, I'm kind of skipping around since... Ooh, what did I do here? I did something weird. What did I do? Let's go ahead and reinsert the arrival. I can't reinsert the arrival? What are we doing? Performance? Let's activate the approach phase, see what happens. Nothing. Cool. Alright, KATL. I wonder if I must have hit something wrong. Not gonna do it? That's super weird. Why? Secondary flight plan. We'll activate the secondary one more time. Let's go here and go KATL. New destination. Insert that. Atlanta. Arrival. ILS to runway 9 right, just like we said before. We're going to go no star. Approach vias. I said Andy. We'll insert that. Direct to Andy. Radial in. Insert. Don't know, no nav intercept. Of course there's no nav intercept. Stop. And I said we're going to pull heading. I don't know why everything dropped, but it did. So, there we go. I want that. 2992. 2. And we got constraints in there. Sweet. So, now I kind of have a little bit of situational awareness. There we go. So yeah, everything being equal, we checked our our waypoints. We got iPhone 1089, 30-degree glide slope 095. We want KATL, runway 09 right. Excellent. We got GPS primary accuracy high 0.03. Performance we got 2992, 15 degrees. And the winds are 180 at 5. So there we go. And now, if we look down here at our minimums, we got localizer 1480, but we got to, you see MDA, that means must do arithmetic. So we got to add 50 feet onto that. So instead of 1480, it's going to be 1530. So let's go ahead and put that in there. That's going to go in the barrow field. Alrighty, so all of that should remain equal. We'll do flaps full, auto brakes low. Even though they really want us to use flaps 3, I like using flaps full, so I'm not going to deviate from that for too much. So we did our backward Z, no need for the double D. We were going to brief it up. We'll hand the aircraft over to our pilot monitoring. We're going to go ahead and brief up the approach here. One thing we're going to do for situational awareness is over Bernie. So we're going to put a fix info right over Bernie. So that's BURNY. And we're going to put a 1 mile ring around it. That's going to let us know that once we cross 1 mile, we need to convert over to flight path angle, and then at point 3 we should descend down, and on the other side of that 1 mile ring, that's going to remind us to set our missed approach altitude. So it serves two purposes for us, which is going to help us out here. So since we have no glide slope, what we got to do is at Bernie, our final approach fixer, we're going to go ahead and start down at a 3-degree glide slope, which is what that is here. That's why we're going to go to flight path angle, tune in -3, and that's going to let us come on down. That is the biggest difference there with any other approach, really, and a localizer approach. So you got to remember that the airplane's not going to descend for you. You have to descend for the airplane. The other part of that is, I'll leave this on the the performance page. I'm going to put this on the progress page. This is going to tell us how high or low we are on the approach. So we're definitely going to want to use that. We're at green dot. Oh, that's fine. Well, yeah, we can cruise around at green dot. Um, we're going to want to monitor. There's going to be another green dot right here. We're going to use this green dot in concert with our VDEV to see if we're high or low on their approach. So let's go ahead and begin our turn in. We'll go north here. Excellent. Alrighty, so we're at 6,000 feet. I'm going to descend us down to, let's call it 4,000 feet, because why not? And so that's the biggest difference between a localizer ILS and a localizer approach. So everything else, being equal, remains the same. At Bernie, we got to do flight path angle, 3 degrees, and go dive down. So uh, for our localizer approach, we're going to want to make sure we have the LS push buttons on, so we'll go ahead and do that since we're already set up for that. Constraints are on, autopilot's on, flight plan. We validated the approach, we checked the rad nav and our performance. We're going to arm the localizer instead of the ILS, and we're going to use open descent or vertical speed to descend down to our final approach fix. Prior to our final approach fix, we want to make sure we have the flight path vector and monitor localizer course. We want to make sure we respect any step downs. There are none. After the final approach fix, we're going to dial in a -3 descent angle, and we can adjust that plus or minus 1 degree of descent angle. And we're going to disconnect the autopilot at around 250 feet. So those are our big differences there. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I'll put you back on that page. Let's go ahead and turn to 030. We will intercept the localizer here. And now that we're all briefed up, a loc capture, we can ask for the flight controls back from our pilot monitoring. So I have the controls, and whenever you're ready to send checklist altimeters, we got 2902, auto brake low, prefer approach page, set, arrival briefing, review no star localizer runway 9 right approach, status is checked. No status messages, no changes. The sent checklist is complete. Excellent. So we have the localizer captured. We're here at 4,000 feet, which is great because that's going to make us have to descend down to 2,700 feet before we get to burning. So that is excellent. I'm going to go ahead and take control of the speed again. Review Fenix -10. Let's go flaps 1. There we go. I'll go ahead and arm the speed brakes. Alrighty, so I'm going to begin slowing down to 170. This is why I always say 170 is a really good speed. It allows you to get down and be partially configured. We're going to ignore this glide slope. It allows you to be partially configured so that you're not trying to do all types of gear slinging and flap slinging and all types of other stuff. So flaps 2, speed verified. So once we cross easy, and in fact right now I can set 2,700. So we'll go ahead and do that. Once we cross easy, I'll just pull open descent. We'll go right on down. Once we level at 2,700, I'm just going to go ahead and begin configuring all the way. I might even start a little bit before 2,700 feet. Never know. So there is easy. We'll go open descent. So we're not really getting a vertical deviation here. We would actually get a vertical deviation since the airplane does know where it needs to be and what crossing restrictions it needs to be at. Don't know where we are, but we can use the glide slope as a reference. Now in the real airplane, you'd get a little green ball right here that kind of helps you too, and while also getting your vertical deviation. So we're getting close to the 1 mile. I'm going to go ahead and begin slowing up. No need to go too fast. We can go gear down. Flaps 3, this is why 170 is so good. You gear down flaps 3 immediately. And then flaps full, before landing checklist. Altimeters, we got 299.2 and 3220. 299.2 checked. Engine mode, norm. Landing gear, waiting on it to do its self-check. Down through green, ECAM memo. We're holding for the ECAM memo, so we're going to hold until we get to 2,000 feet. That's where we're going to get it. So we're at 2,700 feet. We got landing no blue before landing checklist is complete. So now, look, we're 1 mile from our thing, our Bernie. So what I'm going to do is we're going to switch over to track flight path angle. I'm going to select -3 here. Excellent. And then when I get from point 3, which is right now, I'm going to go ahead and go down. So we'll go ahead and go down at -3 degrees. That should bring us right just about on glide slope. And now, since I do have that set, we're on the other side of Bernie. Guess what? Set the missed approach altitude. Missed approach altitude is 4,000 feet. We can go ahead and set that now. So the missed approach altitude is set. The green ball is a yo-yo. It really is a yo-yo. So you can see on the glide slope, we're a little bit low. So guess what? I'm going to take a little bit of our descent path angle out. I'm going to treat our glide slope like it is our little green ball, since I don't have the VDEV here. So I'm going to go to -2.5, since we're half dot low. You see it's correcting back in. Minimums is at 1530. Am I going to get? I don't know. I may have set the clouds a little too low. Boop. I can change that. Boop. There we go. 500, stable target. We're sinking 6. Alright, we're back on glide slope. We'll bring that down to 3 degrees. There we go. Runway continuing. Excellent. So at 250 feet, I have to disconnect the autopilot, which is perfectly fine. I'm visual now. Autopilot's off. Don't worry about that. I'm on the Pappies. Yes, I understand. Crossing the threshold. I'll bring it to idle now so we don't get the floaties. Bring in this aft back pressure. There we go. Deployed. $80. We'll let the auto brakes bring us to a stop. 60. I'll leave it in min reverse for a little bit longer. Leaving it in min reverse doesn't hurt the aircraft. And we'll just bring it to a nice gentle stop right here on the center line. Alrighty. We'll set the brakes. There we go. That is done. I like to turn off the flight directors when I'm using the bird to stop unwanted auto thrust commands. Well, you're not going to get different auto thrust commands because it's still commanding a VREF speed. I assume that's what you're saying, or to prevent, I should say, to prevent unwanted auto thrust commands. Nope, that should still work perfectly the same. When doing a look, I don't know if your company allowed, but you can turn off glide slope on the GPWS. So we don't do that. So yes, you could do that. Glide slope mode, that's going to turn that off, and now we don't have it, which is perfectly fine. So usually what they'll do especially in the simulators, they'll just turn off the localizer or the glide slope on the localizer there, so you do a localizer only approach. Or if they leave it up, you're supposed to be ignoring the glide slope anyway. But no, we don't turn that off. We just follow our vertical deviation here and in the box here. So let's see. What do we got coming up next? Alrighty, this can be a handful or not a handful. I'm not too sure. Let's go ahead and reset here. Gonna go ahead and turn you off for a second. We'll go ahead and reset, restart. And this one will be the last one we do for tonight. I don't know. I'm gonna probably get on my PC again tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow morning. We shall see. It depends on what type of mood I am in. So let's go ahead and get you going again. Import, please. Thank you. I know. I know. Let's see. Panels. Day. Activate. Mass and balance. I know. Okay. I don't know when you get to do it and when you don't get to do it. I have no clue. Let's go ahead and initialize. Well, let's let it sit for a second. While it's thinking, I'll set some minor things up here, here. There we go. When we begin, get the lights going. I don't know why that's like that. We don't use a no smoking sign anymore. Actually, no, we use it the opposite direction. It's always on. There we go. Let's see. That is all set. I can go init request. That should load it into the secondary there. I don't know why. Last time I did it. This time it's not. I don't care. You know what we're doing. 100 people, 2,000 in the cargo, 16,000 on the fuel. Keep all the numbers the same. That way your V-speeds are all the same. Instant, thank you. Send a McDo, thank you. Secondary flight plan. We're going to insert into the secondary. Screen's blank. We're going to activate the secondary. Excellent. Anish, Annette page, Fenix, 320, 50, 270, whatever. Let's see, 15 degrees outside. Winds, request, give it a second to uplink. Oh, okay, sorry. Bloop. There we go. We're magically back. There we go. You missed a little bit, but we're magically back. We'll insert that uplink. Alrighty. Annette, did I send it to here? Yeah, it did send it. Alright, sweet. Flight plan. We're going to go Atlanta, 9 left. We're going to do the Varsity 2, just like we've been doing with the Noki transition. We'll go ahead and insert that. Savannah, really doesn't matter. We'll do the ILS. How about that? ILS, there we go. Let's see. I answered the winds, right? So now I need V speeds. Alright, so this is where, alright, let's do this. Sync file load sheet, that looks good. We got 1.8, come on, 1.8 at 5. 15 areas, 2992, excellent. Calculate, send a McDo, that looks good. Performance, that's all set. Alrighty. So now I'm going to go in here and mess up my secondary flight plan. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go departure. 9 left. And that's going to be that. We're going to return. And then I'm going to do ATL09L. And we're going to insert that right on Noki. How about that? And then that's going to be KATL09L. And I want the, what is that? 095. And let's call it 25. Place bearing distance. Let's store that. And come back to a secondary flight plan. ATL09. I called it 09L. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to do that. So there, we're going to activate, we're going to select that. We're going to insert a hold, computed hold, obviously. That's the best hold. We're going to return, and then we're going to set up for a return to Atlanta as well. So this would be part of like how you would set up your normal engine out procedure to return back around that you would do hopefully every takeoff. So we're going to do Atlanta, arrival, runway 9er right. There we go. No star, Andy, via, and there we go. We're going to return, we're going to check, make sure we got everything. We can delete Noki because we don't need that. Excellent. So that is all set there. I think I get everything else kind of set up. Let's do max on the auto brake. We'll arm the spoilers too. And cabin, the cabin's still doing their thing. Okay, yeah, I know. You're still running down the flaps too. Let's check you out one more time. There we go. The takeoff config is norm. Excellent. We'll bring you down to 29902, 29902, and 29902. Let's go to like 4,000 feet. That looks good there. And I forgot how I did this last time. I need two things to happen here. Alright, so why are you still showing that something's failed? That's weird. IR2 alignment. Where's IR2 alignment? It's weird. Stop being failed. Let's see. Where are you? Way down there. Literally the last thing. Alrighty. Number one or number two, chat? You pick. Number one or number two? I cannot see what I want on here to begin with. Why can't I see this? But the question still stands. Number one or number two? Don't need that. Two. Got it. Alright. So let's go ahead and put performance up here. V1 is 130. Sorry, no, V1 is 126. Alright. So at or above 120x, there we go. We'll insert that and apply changes. We're going to go all the way down here. And we're going to engine 2. Or failure. And we're going to set that mean sea level? Oh, what's that going to be mean sea level? Um, what are we at? 1,000 feet, so 1015. That sound reasonable to you? All right. So we'll do that. Apply changes. Boom. All right. So, um, yeah, the non-critical engine. Good luck. Yeah, the Phoenix doesn't really do such a good job at engine failures, but we'll see what we can do because it's like as soon as you bring it back to MCT, like the climb just stops. It just stops for some reason on this airplane. I don't know why. Um, so the winds are going to be the same. 180 at 5 because it always is. 5 and 0. Alright, so there's that. Let me just come back and make sure it took it because reasons. Alrighty. Whoop. Let's see. Overcast. Duh. This is mean sea level, right? We're at 1,000. We're already at 1,000 feet. Mean ground level. Oh, okay. Well, screw you guys. I guess I could do that. Bring that there because of reasons. Alrighty. So we'll do that. Call it what it is. Alrighty. So there we go. We're set up for the perfect situation. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we are absolutely set up for the success. It's 200 feet, a half-mile visibility, and ATC reports engine failures in the vicinity. So best of luck to everyone. The parking brake is off. And we're ready to go. 1.05 on the burr. If I mess this up, I'm going to mess this up live in front of everyone. Here we go. Flex. Thrust set. 80. Checked. B1. Rotate. My aircraft. Engine fire. Positive rate. Gear up. Bringing the flight directors back down. Or bringing the... Woo! Come on. There we go. Bringing the pitch back down to just above the 10-degree mark. Gonna trim out. I got left rudder in there. I don't know why I have left rudder in there. Dead foot, dead engine. So we got left rudder in there. Trim 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. That should be enough trim on the engine. I'm gonna slowly let out that rudder. Might not be enough trim on the engine. And we're going to go ahead and engage that. Pull the heading 095. Cancel the master caution. Excellent. Let's go into a secondary flight plan here. We're going to activate the secondary. And we're going to bring ourselves back around and manage our own up there. We can go toga now that the autopilot is engaged. That should give us... Where are you going, airplane? You shouldn't be going anywhere. That definitely didn't work how it should. Woohoo! The airplane is doing airplane things. How about that? Let's go direct to... Well... I thought I had that all on the secondary. Why aren't you in the secondary? It's going somewhere, and I don't know where it's going. That's never a good thing. So how about this? We'll re-intercept our 095 course. We're above 1,000 feet, our acceleration altitude. Push the level off. The engines are doing all types of different power settings. Flaps 1. We're mostly in our cone of safety there. Go back to 095 again. Stay in our cone of safety. Where the flight director is going, I have no clue. Where are you going, flight director? Really? Telling you. The Phoenix does not handle engine failures well. Alrighty. We tried. We tried. We tried. Alright. Boop. Let's restart that. Restart. Continue. Yeah, even though I was vertical speed 0, all I did was change the heading, and all of a sudden the airplane just fell out of the sky. The Phoenix doesn't handle single engine stuff well. So we'll skip that. We'll head on to the next topic then. I said we're going to do one more. We'll still do one more. It flew the first part of it perfectly fine. Which is perfectly fine. I mean, I got it into pretty much a stable flight path, and then I don't know. It does something happens in the flight sim physics where it just refuses to fly. So, and that's a flight sim thing. I do it in server error occurred. Okay, I do this in Explain. Works perfectly fine, but I uninstalled Explain. So that's not going to be happening anytime soon. Uninstalled Atolus, I uninstalled Explain, so it was a much better tool for all of that. So we'll do this last thing. We're going to do high-speed recheck here. So it's super easy. It won't take nearly as long simply because with the single engine stuff, you got to like do a single engine approach. There's a ton of stuff to brief, so that one is actually a fully involved one. That's like a 20 or 30 minute little scenario whenever you got to run it. And think about it, you got to do it 2 times. I was taught in the event of an engine fire, ECAM actions at 400 feet. So here's what we do. I'm going to show a little bit of light on that. There is no emergency that is that pertinent, that or that relevant, that important, that at absolutely 400 feet you have to be extinguishing a fire. That fire is sitting out there, is so contained in the engine, it's not going anywhere. Worst thing that's going to happen is the engine burns off the pylon. Now you have no engine and no fire. Fine. But at 400 feet, you do not have to do ECAM actions. And in fact, we're not doing any ECAM actions until the aircraft is in stable flight and climbing up and away from the, the airport. So we level off at our acceleration altitude, whatever it may be, for whatever day airport altitude we're at. We're going to accelerate, clean up the airplane into a nice clean configuration so we can get the best climb out of it. And then we're going to run the ECAM. And even then, we're not even going to start immediately at the ECAMs. We're going to see if it's a quick action item or an exception to the ECAM. Meaning, quick action, meaning that, okay, we need to do this first before we do anything else, or an ECAM exception. Hey, the ECAM is saying to do this, but maybe we don't want to do that real quick. Maybe we want to take a second and not do what the ECAM says before the ECAM tells us to do something insane, like turn off all 3 ADRs. Well, once you do that, you're not getting them back. That's it. They're done. They're toast. You're not getting those anymore. So you don't want to go and turn off all 3 ADRs, and now you have no good information to fly on. So sometimes you don't want to do what the ECAM says, and that's why we have ECAM exceptions. Um, and sometimes those exceptions are buried deep into the checklist there, and they're not some of the immediate ECAM exceptions we need to do. Maybe we get one fault that leads us to say, well, if a subsequent fault happens, don't do what the ECAM says, because now you're going to turn off a separate system, and now you have, or not a separate system, but a redundant system, and now you have no redundancy. So you're going to run that first, and if it's neither, if what you're seeing is neither one of those, then you can start going through your ECAM actions there. And like I said just like I said before, when we ran the TR fault, you're still going to assign who's going to fly the airplane and who's going to be the pilot monitoring, aka the ECAM running the ECAM person. So there's nothing that's going to happen too quick. Um, However, there are some exceptions where you just gotta notify the airplane. What if we get two, one, two, or three airspeeds that are unreliable? How are you gonna fly the airplane? Well, now you're just flying it from memory. Now you're just flying based on. Sorry, those need to be at idle. I have a lot of stuff that needs to be reset here. Now you're just kind of flying from memory. You know, you need to be, if you're on takeoff, you need to have, a certain pitch and power setting. Once you level off, you need certain pitch and power settings. And then once you get established level, then the aircraft is in a stable flight path. Then you can start running and trying to figure out and troubleshoot. So, do we have memory items? No, but you better remember what pitch and power settings you need to be if you don't have an airspeed. Because if you don't, how will you know what stable flight is? And leveling off is actually pretty easy in this airplane. You turn the bird on the horizon right here, boom, you're level. Doesn't matter what altitude you're at, what airspeed you're at. If that bird is on the horizon, you are level. No ifs, ands, or buts. Then all it comes down to is you know what thrust setting do I need? What we usually do is we'll say it's 50% plus 10% of our altitude. So let's say we're flying around at 5,000 feet. Well, it's 50% plus 5, it's 55. So um, the math is real easy there. If you're at 30,000 feet, you don't know what your thrust should be. That's 50% plus 30. So that's 80%. And that's going to give you a roundabout ballpark figure of um, what your engine power should be at when you start troubleshooting all of this stuff. So stuff like that makes it a little bit challenging, but there's nothing where you got to run an ECAM immediately. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and import you from SimBrief. I know. Let's go mass and balance. Load aircraft instant dismissed. Let's see. We'll go here. We'll sync the final load sheet. 180 at 5. It's 15 degrees. And we are 2992. That's done. Calculate. I'm not going to send that to McDo yet. I want to send this to McDo first. Success. Alright. I should really try to import this first. How about that? There we go. Secondary. We'll uplink the secondary there. And then lastly, we will activate the secondary. There we go. Sweet deal. Let's go. Atlanta departure. Does it really matter? Not really. We'll just do that. Varsity. Noki. We won't worry about an arrival. Let's see. Phoenix. 320. We'll put that in there. 50, 270, 15. Alrighty. Why am I caring so much when we're not even going to get airborne? I have no clue. Did I do the NITB page? Yeah, alright. It's in there. So let's go in here. We already calculated it out. We can send to the McDo. It's going to be a flaps 2. If I didn't get that already, now it's gonna go. Let's see. We'll do that. Arm that. We'll do that. And we will test that. Excellent. So, high speed rejection. Remember not to hit the brakes immediately. When I'm practicing rejection, I still hand the reins. Yeah, so yeah, no, I try not to hit the brakes at all on any reject until it is absolutely necessary. So, with that being said, the low speed rejects are the ones that are way more difficult. High speed rejects are pretty easy. The auto brakes kick on. You let the auto brakes do auto brake things. Let's go into failures. Thank you. Flight control. Flight control. There it is. Let's do. We'll do that one. We'll arm it, and what's our V speed? Let's just call it 100 knots. How about that? At above 100 knots, we'll apply the changes. There we go. So there's our high speed reject, all set and ready to go. Everyone ready? Everyone ready? There we go. This is a very easy, straightforward, not much to it. We'll release the parking brake, have side stick down, 1.05 on the EPR. Flex. Thrust set. Eighty checked. Reject my aircraft. Deployed. 80. 60. Alrighty. We'll set the parking brake. The FO is going to tell air traffic control we are rejecting. I'm going to tell the passengers. This is the captain. Remain seated. Remain seated. Remain seated. Alrighty. So the passengers are now going to remain seated. Flight attendants know that we're not going to be rejecting because I said remain seated, or evacuating because I said remain seated. The FO has now advised tower, and now he has hopped straight into the ECAM. He doesn't need to be prompted for me to do it. He just does it. So he says flight control left side stick fault. We got an ELAC 1 fault, an ELAC 2 fault. When did we get all these faults? I have no clue, but we did. So he's going to say, alrighty, it's not a quick action item, it's not an ECAM exception. So flight control, left side stick fault, we have all these other faults with it. It says man, pitch, trim, use, we're on the ground, we don't have to worry about that. Clear flight control, clear flight control. On the status page here, all of this has to do with if we're on flight, we are on the ground. Our in-up systems are flight control protections, left and right aileron, left side stick and cat 2. Clear status, clear status. Alrighty, ECAM actions are complete. And what we can do now is go ahead and advise tower that we're done running our checklist. We need to coordinate with operations for a return to gate because this is definitely going to be a maintenance issue. So you see, when you let the auto brakes do everything, you don't have to worry about how you're slowing down the airplane. It's going to slow down, and it's going to slow down very aggressively. I actually have been a passenger in the back during a reject. And yes, you will feel the reject. It is going to put you into the seat in front of you. That is what the brakes are designed to do when they're performing at their maximum. And that's what you want them to do. You don't want to use any more runway than you don't have to. So that is a quick down and dirty. Sorry, I wish the engine failure went a little bit better, but that's okay. I'll get plenty of practice with that tomorrow in the simulator. Hopefully the simulator flies a little bit better. Actually, I know the simulator flies much better than it does here in Microsoft Flight Sim. Again, I think it's really a Microsoft Flight Simulator limitation because I've tried this on the Fenix. I've tried it on the I Builds 320, and I've tried it on the Fly-by-Wire 320. And those they don't really simulate failures. So what I do is I just kind of like shut off an engine after V1. And all of them do pretty much the same thing. Once you take it airborne, they all act super funny. And they become almost nearly uncontrollable. So I really do think it's a Microsoft Flight Simulator limitation, not a I or fly-by-wire or a Fenix limitation. That's just me. The other video that I did with Train Like a Real Pilot, the engine failure went a little bit better than this one did, although that did take some adjusting of the V-speeds, which I did do in that video. And so it was definitely a lot more flyable than this one was. But that's just so you note. The Fenix, all of the airplanes start acting really funny when you start doing engine failure stuff. But when you get it correctly, when you get when you put this little box, your airplane, right on that shelf at the 10-degree line, it flies it out really good. And then once you get there and the flight director stabilize out, you can follow flight directors out. But other than that, if you ever get the speed just ever so slightly low, the airplane just does weird stuff. I don't know why. But that is the stream tonight. Glad you guys were able to come out and join me. Hopefully you can join me for another stream. I might do the same thing tomorrow night. And I may stream again tomorrow morning because this isn't even all of the sim. So there's still a few more maneuvers that we have to do. Actually, if I look here, there's just literally one more maneuver. The rest are kind of drills that you kind of get into. Maybe I'll do them, maybe I won't, before we have another sim the next day. So the next sim is the big sim. So we got one practice sim, two main sims, and that's kind of how our training goes. So thank all of you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. And good questions there, Max Racing. Healthy curiosity. So, Max Racing, Draco, really appreciate you guys. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. Hopefully. Stay tuned. I don't know. We'll see. There's no real promises there. So, even though this was an impromptu stream, I'll still get the music going for you there. There we go. And until I see you on the next one, everyone, take care of yourselves and each other. Until then, have a great evening, have a great day. I'm Grey Eagle. Peace.